Baylor was robbed by the officiating crew, but is that what lost the Bears the game? And then Colorado with Les Miles level clock management. Bad. This is an emergency Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's Friday, everybody. Week 1 of college football, and I come to you live from the outdoors of Florida, the Gulf of Mexico, where I'd like to go to the beach, have a great weekend, have some fun. And as a Baylor alumni, I cannot, after the slaughter that just happened, and it wasn't necessarily at the hands of the Auburn Tigers. It had in large part to do with the SEC officiating crew that was hired to officiate the game in Waco. Then Colorado, terrible clock management, and the Big 12 is 0-2 in Power 5 games tonight. We will start with a Baylor game. If you hit subscribe, I get to keep my job. Let's shoot ourselves straight. I'm going to be honest with you, and you're going to be honest with me. Auburn was the better football team. If Baylor has Jackie Marshall, maybe the Bears win. There is a world in which Baylor wins this game, and I think that part is inarguable. That is objective. Baylor has it on first and goal with an opportunity to score. They can't punch it in. That's a pretty good chance for the Bears to make this game tight toward the end if they're able to deliver. Let's also talk about there at the end of the game where Baylor goes 4th and 1. If you run the football up the middle, Auburn's not expecting it. The game at least stays alive. That's a bunch of what ifs. And what ifs don't count for much in college football. But let's be fair. This game is still 2 plays away from Baylor winning. That doesn't spell blowout for what Auburn was able to do. They were the better football team. Baylor made the defense look like Swiss cheese. 419 yards passing for Sawyer Robertson and 3 touchdowns. Do you think that's going to cut it in the SEC? I was told by multiple people this week, multiple Auburn analysts, that this may be the best offense the Tigers face all season from a skill position standpoint. And maybe you're right. 419, 3 tutties, pretty good. But that's 64 yards rushing. Negative 19 for Sawyer Robertson, a guy who has legs. That's not good. Cole Wilson, Michael Trigg, yes, good football, good stuff. Toward the end of the game, not good stuff. And then Keaton Thomas, defensively, very good stuff. You know what's not really good stuff, though? Number 1, Jackson Arnold's arm, good, unusable. Baylor lost 38-24. If you cut off both of Jackson Arnold's arms, Baylor would have lost this game 38-24. He is a liability throwing the football. And if you're an Auburn fan, GG's, congrats, good for you. But that's your quarterback? You better hope the entire SEC has a bad run defense. Baylor's run defense is atrocious. Then there was the officiating. Obvious face mask. A player was decapitated in the middle of the field for the Baylor Bears, and there was no call. Like, you slow it down, and there are some where you're like, it was his pinky. You could see how his helmet was removed from his head entirely. The most face mask of all face masks. They will show it in officiating training videos on how to call the most obvious face mask of all time. It goes uncalled. A holding, we didn't see, by the way, because Fox is, A, because it didn't happen, B, because Fox just decided to drop the ball and show you the blimp camera and the crowd reaction of a 51-yard gain for the Bears. And here's where I talk about, these calls cost a lot of time, and time is what Baylor ran out of. A holding penalty that negates a 51-yard gain in this game that changes the entire trajectory of how that last 6 minutes is played. On top of that, a defensive holding on a run play. The keyboard warriors, the experts out there, I've seen defensive holding on a run play all the time. That's what happened. That's how it is in college football. First time for me. On a very obvious run play where Jackson Arnold wants to do one thing, and it's run the football, a defensive holding is called, and Auburn gets to extend the drive. Baylor would have stopped Auburn on 3rd down, and the Tigers would not have scored. But more so, if I want to blame somebody more so than the officiating crew, it is Dave Aranda, the defensive guru, who I could have told him Auburn was giving Dave Aranda the play the entire night. We're going to run the ball, likely with Jackson Arnold. Auburn kept telling me that. Every fan in the stands knew. The Tigers ran Arnold 16 times, Alston 16 times, Cobb 16 times. That's good. 307 yards on the ground as well. That's good. No single receiver had more than 26 yards. Malcolm Simmons, Cam Coleman held to one catch for 23 yards. And the Auburn Tigers won the football game. This wasn't a display of SEC strength and might. If it was, then Auburn's defensive line would have sacked Sawyer Robertson 17 times. Instead, he threw for 400 yards. The defensive secondary for Auburn was bad, a liability. It's not like Baylor was dominated by the defense of the Tigers. And conversely, Baylor's defense, you ran over them with the run game, but there was one thing that worked for Auburn and one thing that worked for Baylor. For Baylor, it was the pass, and it worked at an elite level. For Auburn, it was the run. It worked at an elite level. If you run the ball better than the other team throws the ball, you're likely going to win the game. Would you rather have 400 yards rushing or 400 yards passing? It's always rushing because you win the game. It's less sexy, but you win the game. That's how Auburn went and won the game tonight. I am more concerned across the country in Boulder, Colorado, with this. 27-20 final, Colorado loses to Georgia Tech. Timeouts don't roll over. You can't just have, and I think Deion Sanders is a good football coach, man. I think he is. And I don't think he's an idiot, but clock management at the end of the game, just not there. Just not what you want it to be. Let's look at the stat line for Caden Salter. 17 for 28, a touchdown, 159 yards passing. If you watch this game, he was timid most of the game. He started really, really well, actually. And he'd roll out of the pocket. He'd see an open running lane and decide, not going to run. Not going to test it. So many opportunities for Colorado to get a first down via Caden Salter's legs when he wouldn't run. They ran the ball 13 times. Some of those are sacks. But he ran the ball 13 times, ran one in for a touchdown, but his longest run was 11 yards. And he had opportunities where he was open and he could have taken advantage of more yardage. And 3 turnovers on the first 3 Georgia Tech drives. Colorado scored 7 points in total in that span. And then again, you're given the opportunity to win the game at the very end, and you can't do it. Why? Because timeouts are left in your back pocket. Look at Haynes King. This is a very similar thing to Jackson Arnold. If we look at what Haynes King did tonight, he didn't throw the ball well. 13 for 20, 143 yards, and a pick. Didn't have to. He ran for 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. I could have told Dave Aranda they're going to run the football with the quarterback. I could have told Deion Sanders they're going to run the football with the quarterback. And neither head coach, apparently, would take any adjustment to figure it out. Sell out for it. I mean, put no one of the wide receivers, in essence, if you want to. This is the one thing that you have to stop. The one thing I'm begging you to stop. Can you go stop it? The answer was no in both these games. And then Haynes King runs it in at the very end to win the game for Georgia Tech. Big 12 goes 0-2. Not a great night, man. The Cincinnati game stunk, too. Close, man, but close doesn't count in college football. We won't get to the college football playoff selection show, and they say, wow, Colorado was close. Almost beat Georgia Tech, the ACC champions. They won't say, wow, Baylor was so close to beating Auburn. They won't say any of that. Close doesn't matter. Close doesn't matter. Certainly didn't tonight. And both of the Big 12 teams lost. Today's show is brought to you by Upside. Upside is one of my favorite sponsors that we have at Locked On, because if you're paying full price for gas, you don't have to anymore. Stop leaving money behind. Download the free Upside app on the App Store, Google Play right now, and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code, all caps, football. Get an extra 25 cents back per gallon during your first fill up. Make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, it's too good to be true, but it's legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes. PayPal, e-gift card, Amazon, other brands to cash out anytime. My promo code is football for a limited time, 25 cents per gallon. Bonus to that code, football. Other offers may vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. That is Upside. Yep. Let's have a better day tomorrow. Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.